Welcome back, Coven. I'm Marilyn.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Susie.
And this week, let's get into it. We're going to talk about vacations because we all need one.
I
wish. Just can't have one. But before we get into that, let's do our predictions. This is our tradition. But
No. Before we get into that, let's do the candle.
Ah, yes, the candle.
First and foremost,
I always forget about the damn candle.
That's okay. We will light the candle.
Lighting device.
This bloody candle. I just had to have this candle be your tradition, didn't
The brown turd candle.
That's never going to melt away. I knew it was going to take more than those episodes. After I said 8, I'm like, really? That's going to take way more than that.
That's all right. It'll last us maybe forever. I don't know.
Yeah,
1 or 2.
It's barely even... Yeah.
So we usually do predictions right now, but we were not really thinking straight because of our weird record / the time we take to like edit episodes and things like that. You guys don't need a whole rundown of what happens in the background of making a podcast necessarily, but
we'll give you one.
We have a weird schedule, and so like it hasn't been enough time for our predictions for the last episode to even have maybe come true. So instead, this week, we have decided that we are going to push predictions to next week, just to give some time to, maybe have some semblance of a chance for any of our predictions to come to be. So
with that being said, we can pretty much get right into topic this time because, let's be honest, sometimes when we do predictions, it kind of takes half hour to get through them.
Yes, and this actually brings us to another point that we wanted to bring up with our listeners. What do you think about predictions? Because we feel like with our tangents, we spend half the episode every time talking about our predictions. Is that fun for you? Do you like that? Would you prefer that we cut those out and get right to topic? Because we're kind of on that, maybe we just need to get on topic.
I've had mixed reviews, but for me, I think we should mix things up next season.
I think we should mix it up next season too.
Personally, I think we need to mix it up too. I like predictions, but unfortunately sometimes, as we've come to know, it's weird on the timing with the recording and makes it weird for the listeners because they can't ever count on it being super, consistent. So for that reason, I think we need to do something else. But we'll figure out what that something else is, and we will announce that later. But
so we've thought about maybe
some
questions.
Ideas. If you guys have some ideas for what you think we would be.
What is something you'd like us to do?
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
We need ideas.
Let us know what you think about that. So, but the perk of this is we're going to get right into topic today. Pretty much, anyways. So as I said, we need a vacation and we just can't. So I have a question for the two of you.
Yeah.
If you could leave right now, where would you go?
Run for the hills.
just the hills. Any hill will do.
Can I say the
Far
past?
away from the populace.
Can I say the past before this whole COVID thing happened?
You'll go back and warn people. You'll be like the crazy guy on the street that's like, I swear, man, everything's gonna go to hell.
Although,
wear a mask.
Yes. Oh God, that was great. We have to.
Don't ask questions. Wear a mask.
We will put a link to that. That was gold right there.
Fine.
But no, honestly, so in the context of right now, because that means I can't go back in time. So right now, I honestly would go to probably Hawaii. That is the only place that I have been that was so beautiful and peaceful and relaxing that I can just always in my mind go back to and just kind of find some serenity.
I'm still so jealous that I would never get invited to any of those trips.
You know what, girl? There's the future, and after this coronavirus is done, we'll go back. We will. It's going to happen again. I have faith. I do. I really do.
So. Yeah.
But other than trying to get somewhere remote and away from all of the other people in the world right now, I would love to go to Australia sometime and see the reef out there and just the wildlife in general. I know a lot of people are scared of the giant bugs and the snakes but I would If they're not poisonous, it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, you know, it's a funny story. I actually, in 4th grade, studied Australia, and I have wanted to go to that Great Barrier Reef ever since I found out about it. Oh my gosh, you're not
I'm a little afraid of all the, like, predators there, because they say, like, pretty much everything wants to kill you in Australia, which I know is, like, a stereotype and a meme, but, like...
The outback I'd probably have to stay away from. In the coral reef, I would probably have to be, like, on a tourist guide of some sort, so I'd have some, like, barrier of protection, or I would feel some sort of a safety net was there for me. But
like, I don't know if I'd actually go in the water, or if I would just go to, like, a glass bottom boat ride, or, like... That would be my style. Just be on a boat, drinking...
Oh man, no, I would want to get all up in the nitty gritty. I would though. I really would want to be like scuba diving and like seeing and swimming with the fish and like
I'm thinking more like the culture and stuff there for me. But like also, I don't know. I just like to see new places. And I actually had a friend. Well, she was one of the students who, when I had an administrative job before I started teaching. One of the students who worked in our office was from Australia, and we would just like have conversations, and I would just love to like listen to her Australian accent. But she was like one of the coolest chicks I've ever met, so smart, and oh my gosh.
I think I picked Australian accent for Siri at one point in time, and it was always kind of cool to
I do
listen
Australia
to
sometimes.
it in an
UK sometimes, yeah. But anyways, yeah. So I would love to go to Australia sometime, and I think the musician Millie Tizard that I mentioned before, and we played a little clip of one of her songs in one of the 2 parts of our music episode. She is from Australia, and so it'd be really cool to be able to see her live and then beg her to sing a song with me or something.
That'd be cool.
That'd be awesome.
You know what would be really fun to do in Australia? To go on not a walkabout literally, because that would just be scary and I don't think I would survive. I would really like, I don't know. Well, but you know what I'm saying? Like if you were to go on like one of those ceremonial, what do they call those?
I don't know.
It's like a ceremony that you go with the tribal or the Aboriginal people, and I'm pretty sure that they like, yeah, you have visions and stuff out in the wilderness, and
with like the
it's like a walkabout, but yeah. Anyway,
I don't know.
Walkabout is.
Well, I think a walkabout literally is when you are literally just left out in the outback with nothing, and you're meant to survive on your own for how many days till you make it back to civilization.
I'd be out in the sand in like 5
If
minutes.
I'm not competing for $1 million, I am not doing that.
Literally, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't want to literally go on a walkabout like that. Like, I wouldn't want to like find myself, because I'd find myself dead in the middle of the desert. But I'm saying like
if I'm playing Survivor, yeah, let's go on that 30-day walkabout. If it's not for $1 million,
I'm more talking about like, you know, when they go, and this is maybe it's not a thing in Australia. I thought it was a thing in Australia just because of the walkabouts and how you you know hear about all the people that find themselves and have the visions. But I was thinking more like, you know, when they go on the ayahuasca trips. And they basically do that out in the tribal ceremony.
So you just want to go somewhere and get blitz, is what you want to do.
That's what I'm hearing.
Kind of, yeah. Like, no, I really actually just want to go on one of those spiritual journeys. Yeah. Is I guess what I'm more getting at. But,
so
I mean, in some people's eyes, it's probably the way they would look at it, yes. But no, not for those purposes. Not for those purposes.
Yeah, I smell what you're farting out there.
Not what I'm stepping in. I've heard. I don't know. I was stepping in.
I smell what you're stepping in.
I smell what you're farting out.
I don't think everyone's ever said that before, but
her fart jokes.
I'm very mature.
Yeah, we are.
It's all good. So Samantha says Australia. What else about Australia would you want to do when you went there, or if you were to be able to go there?
Probably the food too, but like that being said, I've been really not great about eating vegetarian this week.
No, naughty.
But
no.
I also feel like if I went on vacation to Australia, I would probably eat the meat there also, because it would probably be way different than what we eat here.
That's true.
You know, and I would want to experience that part of the culture, like their food and. Right. More than just their vegetarian food, because I'm sure they might have great vegetarian food, but I don't want to just eat that part when I go on vacation.
The fullness of it, right? No, that's understandable. Yeah. I would want to eat their seafood. Oh man, I bet they have some awesome seafood being where they're located. Obviously.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on where you're at. I think most of the cities though are nearer to the coast. So
right, and that's why.
travel,
I guess that's what I should specify.
Australia's a
I want
lot
to go
bigger
to
than
the
you think.
coastal, probably cities more than the inner cities or the inner island. But I mean, I would want to see that too. I just probably wouldn't necessarily. I wouldn't be one to get lost out there. And I can't speak to that because the beauty is probably really amazing. But
you'd be like, let me see all this beauty. Where the fuck am I?
yeah, I'd be like getting lost in the corner.
You're gonna go on your walkabout anyway.
Oh my gosh, we have to tell that story someday.
I don't even know if I've heard this story.
We can just tell it now. Okay, so Samantha and I went to go visit our Uncle Vern and Aunt Eleanor
On their farm.
Vale Road.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do remember this actually. Yeah, okay, yeah.
So we're out there, and we're teens. We're just going out to have fun. We were kids, or were we?
I think we were kids.
Yeah, I think we were. Yeah, you're right. We
Like
weren't even
tweens,
teens
maybe?
yet. Yeah, we were like 10
I
or
think
11.
we were still in elementary school.
Like
so.
maybe 10 or 11.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're out in the cornfield and we're together and we were like racing or something and we start running in the same direction and then all of a sudden, and I don't know what happened, or if I cut two
You
different
turned the
ways,
wrong way, girl.
somehow we got lost. I got lost. I got turned away from her somehow and I got lost in the cornfield.
For hours.
And so I'm not even thinking that all this time is passing. Like, I literally did get lost, and I was, like, turning one way, and then I kind of turned another way, and...
You don't turn once you turn, you just find your way out.
On the road. That's
Well, no. Well, that's just it. Well, I thought that I heard you, too. So, like, there was at one point in time
That's terrifying. She heard things in the corner.
I was trying to, like, shout, and so I heard, like, rustling. Not you shouting to me. Like, I heard rustling here or there, so I would try to, like, kind of run in the direction that I thought I heard you in.
Mm-hmm.
And so, upon doing that a couple of times, I got backward, turned around, lost. So anyways, I did realize, obviously, that you just go in one direction and then you'll come out of one end.
Yeah,
of course,
but you came out the other direction.
I was just going to say, of course, the direction that I ultimately chose to take was the opposite way from the house that we were visiting. So I ended up coming out of the freaking neighbor's house.
Which this is the country, so the neighbor
the neighbor is far
a
away.
mile down the road. Like, fuck.
And
then,
we're with our grandma.
Yeah.
And she's so mad.
Yeah, our
She's like,
grandma was
where is
babysitting us.
Susie?
Yes, our grandma was babysitting us at this point. It wasn't even our moms that had us. So I was like in trouble. So anyways, yeah,
I was in trouble for losing her.
I came all the way down the driveway, all the way back up the road, up their driveway. Like, I literally probably walked like 5 miles that fucking day.
With that purse with their Vaseline in it.
That's right. Hey, you know what? I was prepared
Girl
for
was
anything with
prepared.
that thing.
Well, at least you were like not so far. So if I had to go, let me just get into where I would go because it's a related story. So if I could go anywhere, I would go back to Ireland because it was amazing there. Mm-hmm. But anyways, when I went to Ireland, there was one night that everyone went out, but I'm not as much of a partier. You guys know that.
Yeah.
But, we were in Ireland, and we were, college students, so everybody was partying, and I was like, what is it? What is the word?
Don't want to be
killjoy or whatever.
Yep.
And so I took a cab home, I took a bus. So I was taking a bus home, but it was like at night, and like I got off at the wrong stop, and it was like our first or second week there. So I'm like, I have no idea where I'm at. So I'm in the dark, like pulling out this map, trying to figure out where the like house is that I'm supposed to be staying at, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm gonna like die like a million miles away from home. It was fine. I figured it out. I was close. It was just like trying to figure out, and like, it was a relatively nice area that we were in, so I wasn't like super worried.
Yeah.
But you're just like in a foreign country, and you're just like, I am lost, alone in the dark.
Well, then a hostel runs through your mind or something, and you're only like, I'm gonna be one of those people that, is one of those foreigners that goes on a vacation and never comes home. Like, fuck.
How long will it take until they know I'm missing?
Oh my gosh. I had some like interesting bus stories for sure on that. But yeah, so that's where I would go.
What else about, honestly, if I would love to go to Ireland. I was jealous that she got to go to Ireland. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Like,
I've never left the country.
So. Yeah, me neither.
I guess I'm missing out. I've only gone to that one place, so it's not like...
But
it's not
still
like I'm
not.
well traveled, really.
I remember the pictures you brought home from there were amazing. Just everything. I mean, you weren't even like necessarily trying to get like picture perfect photos or anything, but they all looked like they were straight out of a magazine just because of how pretty the place was.
Well,
like,
and it was like 2008, so you didn't really have like good cameras then. I mean, they were better than they were in the past, but they're definitely not as good as they are now.
not on your phones, right?
Yeah.
Well, I brought like a Sony, like, was it Sony or was it Nikon? Like a Coolpix or something like, I don't know.
Okay,
it was like
that.
an old, like, version of the camera, like, compared to what we have now, you know?
Right.
And I could do videos on it, but it was like, yeah, better quality than a lot of the cameras out there at the time, but like also nowhere near as good as we have now.
Right.
But yeah, it was like so pretty there, and you know, it's so funny because like when you think of like Ireland, you think of like this rural place, and there are like definitely like rural sort of, or like very small town sort of stuff. But like when you're in Dublin, which we were close to Dublin, it's very suburban, and like if you get into the city, it's just like if you go to like a city here, I mean, it's, you know, like if you go to Chicago or something, although Chicago's a little bit bigger, but like it's metropolitan, it's, you know,
Pretty similar.
Yeah. It's not all the
modern
like,
and...
let's go out and to the rock wall and sing us a little shanty, or whatever, you know, like, it's,
like,
you know,
and there's sheep in the yonder, and like,
on these green fields for days. It's not all like
you
that.
have your big shaggy dog.
Yeah. You shepherd your sheep.
Corda showed me a video the other day of this little girl that was telling her mom she was so upset she was Irish, and she's like, but Mom, I'm 6 years old, I can't go to the pub. My own mother won't let me go to the pub, and I'm 6 and a half. Oh, it was so funny. I'll put a link to that too because it's just hilarious. But yeah, anyways. So Ireland, that would be great to go there.
So that's where we go now. So where have we been though? I feel like we've all taken some cool
I've
trips.
been around, girl.
Besides the places that we've already talked about. So as far as like kind of in the Midwest area, where have you guys been? Because I haven't been to too many places, but enough.
I mean, in the Midwest, I've been like for Jeremy's wedding. Jeremy is one of our cousins, like our mutual cousins.
Yes.
We all went to that.
We went to like a day trip for his
think
wedding.
Oh, you did?
Or at least most of us did.
When was that?
Several years ago.
Yeah, I don't even remember how many years ago it was, but
you might have been in New York at the time.
I was thinking maybe I might have been in basic training even.
Oh, that could
during
be.
that.
Yeah. It was probably
I guess I don't
approximately
recall
that time.
seeing you in some, like I'm trying to think back on some of the pictures that I remembered from it, and I guess I don't recall seeing you there, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think I was there.
Yeah.
But I went to that too. That was in Iowa, you
Well,
said?
we drove together.
You said it was Iowa, right?
Iowa, yeah.
I remember I used to always go to Iowa on sledding trips with Mary's family growing up. Oh my gosh. Her family, I love her family. I used to get a kick out of going with them anywhere. But yeah, specifically we used to always go on a sledding trip. It was their family reunion. And there was this huge sledding hill that we would go down, and it was so fun. Oh my gosh. And then they would rent the cabin at the top of the hill, and then there was like food and drink, and I mean...
Was it like a sledding resort or something?
I feel like it might have been, and then there were maybe different hills and different like cabins to the different places, and you could just rent them and whatever, but yeah, it was something similar to that. Nice. But no, also in regards to Iowa...
I've been to Iowa. Well, yeah, we went to the caving trip together, and I don't know if I've like mentioned, I know we've mentioned that trip, but I've been there a lot of times like with Dylan, and I've taken other people there, and like I've gone camping there like almost every year.
That is the only time I've gone there, and I freaking loved it. I've never been caving before.
We need to
go
to
caving specifically there multiple times.
It's only like $12 a campsite. I think they just redid it, so I didn't go. I don't think last year or maybe the year before that, because they were like remodeling the park and adding new parking lots or something. But it's super cheap to stay overnight there, and then you get to explore all the caves, and
dude,
the drive there is so cool too, because I always go through like the swamps when I go over the river between Illinois and Iowa.
I haven't been to a swamp in forever. Remember when Auntie used to take us to the bog? That was always really fun.
Yeah.
Well, dude, honestly, one of the things I was thinking about was, remember we were talking about going like crystal hunting?
Yeah.
That would be something that we could probably do during COVID, isn't it? Because it's so remote of an activity to be done. Or is that something that's still...
It depends on how far.
Well, then you gotta stop at gas stations to
go to a hotel.
Never mind.
You probably need like a guide to bring you through wherever you're going to get them. Like
you have to use their bucket still, probably, and like their
never mind.
I don't know.
There was the thought crossed my mind because at first I was thinking that it's COVID, we can't go anywhere, and then I was thinking, well, but could we maybe? And then I'm like, but after talking about it, it's probably not a good idea.
So outside of Iowa, though, I think we quasi mentioned we have a family reunion every year around Labor Day for like our mutual side of the family in Indiana. So
we went on that several years when we were kids. We kind of stopped going now, but
yeah, I haven't been for a few years. But our parents usually still go.
Yeah.
But it's usually like at the same park every year. And like
Well, see, my mom always tells about it like the weekend of. And she's like, oh, can you make it? Like, not when you tell me the weekend of, Mother. No, like, well, it's on the same weekend every year. But yes, but I don't know what weekend what is. And like, remind me things, please.
I think ever since Mom stopped bringing us down there, like, I've never made it a point to go down there myself. Just because, I don't know. Yeah. I'm bad. I should, but...
So I think like one of my favorite things though that's a little bit closer to us is I haven't been in years, but I used to always love to go to like Magic Waters or Six Flags, like Santa's Village when we were kids.
Oh yeah,
is that even around anymore?
Dylan loves Santa's Village. Yep, Santa's Village. It's kind of redone. I don't know if I've been there. He went with his grandpa, and then I think he went with Boy Scouts, but I didn't take him with Boy Scouts. I think he went with his dad or something. I don't know, but.
I remember when I went to Santa's Village, I was pissed because I was the only one that was too short to go on that little roller coaster that they had at the beginning of the thing. And
it goes like in a big circle a bunch of times.
Yeah, it wasn't even like a big roller coaster. And so I went in the line, with all the other Girl Scouts, and I was the only, or maybe it was the class we went with, I forget. But either way, I was the only one. I had to sit there and watch all the other kids sit there and have fun, or, having all this fun. And I was like, I'm so short. I hate being short. I hate my life.
It was fun. I feel like Magic Waters was always a little bit more chill, though, because it was, like, a little bit more local than Six Flags. And I mean, not to say that didn't get, like, attraction from people or whatever, but, like, or attention. But it was usually less busy than Six Flags was.
Yeah, less busy than Six Flags, for sure, just because of the location.
I only went to Magic Waters a couple times, like, my whole life.
Oh,
like one of my babysitters took me when I was younger, and I almost got hypothermia, and like they had hot tubs, but the lifeguards wouldn't let me go in them because I was a child, and like not again, and like my lips were turning blue, and like they still wouldn't like help my babysitter, and she was panicking, like the poor thing. I think it was one of my mom's like close friends. It wasn't like a random babysitter either. It was like a friend of the family type person.
Wow. See, we have these terrible remembering things about these places that are like, I have these happy memories.
I remember the traumas.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I mean, but it did have Dippin' Dots. So
yes, I love Dippin' Dots. And back in the day, like, you had to be at, like, a theme park or some type of, like, attraction type thing to get, They didn't have them at the store.
God, I haven't had those in forever. We should get some of those.
Dylan got some at the store the other day. Trevor bought them for him.
Oh, man, I'm going to have to, like, go to your house and steal some. No, I'm just kidding.
He ate them already.
And you're like, he ate all that. That's gone. I'll have to just get me some from the store is what I need to do.
I remember when I was a kid, like, other than our family reunion, we went to a family reunion on my dad's side. Maybe it was just one time, but, like, we went to, like, Ruby Falls, which was, like, I think in Tennessee. And then we went to some, it was, like, heritage... I don't know. It was like some weird, like, fairy tale caves or something.
Fairy tale caves?
They're terrifying as a kid. I went back there as an adult, like, and with an ex of mine, and, like, they're still terrifying. And, like, so it's, like, a glow-in-the-dark, like, and they have, like, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and, like, all these other things.
Where was this at again?
It's, like, fairy tale caves or something. I don't know what the real name is. I think it's in Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Near Ruby Falls, I believe. Or maybe it's the same the same attraction as Ruby Falls has, like, these fairy tale caverns or something. But, like, my brother remembers, like, he went there with us, obviously.
Interesting.
But I remember going to that as a kid, and,
Where else have you been, Suze? Oh, sorry. Did you have a question for Sam?
Oh, no, it's okay. No, the only other place that I've gone that's kind of like near us was when I was in Girl Scouts. I went to Wisconsin Dells, and we got to go on that.
I've never been there before. I mean, I've driven through like the area, but like.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, like, I didn't have a huge experience. I mean, I got a typical experience there. It's basically we went and we stayed at a hotel, and they had like a water park, and then we went shopping downtown at some of the shops, and then we went. The best part about it was the river ducks. There was this river ducks tour that we went on, and basically it's a vehicle that can drive on the road, and then it can convert into a boat, and it floats along the river.
So you just like drive into the water,
and then you drive back up on the road, and then you go on the river.
I don't think I've ever been on one.
I haven't either.
Oh, it was fun.
I
recommend it. I was a kid.
Do you remember? Well, you remember Aaron. I don't know if you remember Aaron, but Aaron.
Yes.
I don't want to like. He's Aaron Milo now. That's not his like original last name that I know him by, but his family. I was a huge
fan of his when I was in high school because he was in a lot of the plays and
musicals and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
So he actually did a couple of movies too. Eating Out, Drama Camp, and they're like gay cult films kind of, but Eating Out, Drama Camp, and Eating Out. Oh, there's one where they go like on like a vacay or something. I can't remember the name of it, but it's the next one in the series after Drama Camp. But anyways, that being said, his family I think had one of those like cars. I feel like I remember seeing like back in the day like social media posts from him like with his family in one. It's like it looks almost like a classic car almost, I feel like. And then it would like drive into the water. It was, I don't know. It was really cool.
They might have had a fancy one because the one that we had literally looked just like kind of like a drabby boat. And
yeah,
like,
I've seen the ones that you're talking about. I've just never been on one.
I shouldn't say drabby, but at the time I don't remember it being too fancy.
I remember them kind of looking like army style-ish, like heavy duty.
Yeah, but they were more metal and they focused more on the boat look than the car look, I guess. Yeah. I don't know, but I don't. Like I said, it's been
forever. It was a boat that happened to be a car, not a car that happened to be a boat.
Yes, exactly. I guess that'd be the best way to describe it. But yeah, anyways. But you know what's funny though is that when you go on vacation, you remember these horrible experiences. Well, I was golfing at Pirates Cove with all the Girl Scouts. And our Girl Scout troop leader had brought her daughter with, and we were all on the same team when we were playing, and I was deciding to balance my golf club on my palm upside down, so the metal part was up on the top, heavy on the top, and light on the bottom, and I was balancing it thinking I was some cool shit.
Why are you always doing shit like this, Susie?
I know, but it was, oh God, I felt so terrible. I still obviously feel terrible about it to this day. Yes, I accidentally... It fell from my hand because I wasn't good at balancing it. I thought I was balancing it all good, but you know when it always falls? It fell, and it bopped her right on the freaking head. I felt so bad.
I think our family just is prone to guilt trip ourselves over everything. I mean, not that you shouldn't feel bad about that. Like, you probably should. But,
I think as a kid, though...
like, you probably shouldn't still feel guilty.
Right. But I think as a kid, though, it just stuck with me because I was trying to have fun and be myself.
I feel like
free for all, whatever.
Do you remember...
And all of a sudden, it just totally went the other direction, and it made me really embarrassed, and I was really
This is still kind of on topic. It was one of our trips to Indiana, and there was a hotel that we stayed on the top floor, and there was like a balcony with like a crack, and we were trying to spit and suck it back in.
Yes, I will never forget that either. Oh my God.
And my mom made us. Well, I think she just made you apologize to the people.
I don't remember, but I remember having to go up and apologize. I thought she made us both.
Maybe.
But we were... Do you remember that?
No. There was like a railing, and we were like practicing as children, like trying to spit and then suck it back up.
Yep.
Because, we're classy.
But why would we choose to do it right by a door?
Over the door railing?
There was a doorway where people were going in and out of the hotel.
Oh, and you spit on somebody?
And we accidentally spit
and my mom saw.
Oh my God.
My mom saw us. Or maybe Steve told on us. I don't know.
I don't remember, but I remember we got caught and we had
to apologize. Yep. I don't think we were allowed to go swimming that night. We couldn't play the PS4 or something.
I remember they made us pay. It was embarrassing.
The Nintendo 64, that's what I meant. Because like we brought that on our vacations in the cars and like
played it in the middle of the back seat and stuff with our little tiny screen that was this big, and we just
I feel like you guys wanted a lot more adventures than I did. I'm so boring.
Oh no!
Like I mean, even just like my travel.
We were
stuff
just naughty children. That's what that was.
Adventures.
As the oldest child here, I can confirm that is largely true.
Hey, you know what? Both of us have kids now. We're getting our karma.
I mean, I'm paying for it now because now I have no life. So
I'm just spreading it out.
Haven't had a good night's sleep in the last 10 months. It's fine.
Sometimes you don't realize you're on these adventures until it's already in the past. You're like, oh wow, that was such an adventure. Because your life sucks so much. You're like, oh, that's so boring. That was so adventurous what we did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just this year that sucks because we can't do anything like this right now.
I mean, I guess that's true.
I guess I'm just boring in general because like mostly what I do, like other than like the couple of things like which I, you know, like was when I was kids, or like the day trip to Iowa was like for a family function.
Yeah,
like I'm boring. Like I go to Chicago, like I can probably still count on my two hands like how many times I've been in Chicago.
Oh, me too.
Even though that's like the nearest.
I've been to Chicago quite a few times because I love the aquarium. So, like, I'm an aquarium junkie, so I like going there. When I worked at Target, we had, you know, because let's not say where we worked, but I'm just going to say I worked at Target, and they had free passes to the aquarium, so I could just go there, and I think I could bring, like, up to 4 family members, so we just got to go for free, so we went to that quite a bit, and then my brother lived out there for a while, and I like going to, like, Boys Town, and which is, like, I'm going to always mess up the LGBTQ.
The Alphabet Mafia, if you're on TikTok.
It's their neighborhood.
Mafia area.
And it's, I love, like my brother's brought me down around there in some of the places. And I think I mentioned, like Market Days Festival, which is near there. And so, yes.
Yeah.
But, so I I've been there a lot. And I also like their cemeteries, which like is weird, but I like visiting cemeteries and the architecture of like different things, especially old ones, and there's some old ones from like the Chicago fire down in town Chicago, and like
their cemeteries
I just like walking in them, and they're peaceful. So
many spirits and
other than that, I maybe sometimes go to like Madison or Milwaukee, but even those, like, that's probably even rarer than Chicago. I mean, like,
see, I don't like
as hell.
I don't like those cities.
I mostly am too.
If I'm in Wisconsin, I like the adventure-y stuff, like Devil's Lake and hiking out there, and then like going tubing down the Sugar River up in Wisconsin.
I've never done either of those things.
We could do that social distancing, going tubing, like,
dude. Well, I mean, not right now.
Not in the winter. I mean, like once it's summer.
But
again.
yeah, we. Oh man, I would love to go do that.
And I've brought Dylan down the river before. Like, as long as it's not high and he has his life jacket on, like, the babies are pretty safe, and we should do it soon.
Oh, man.
So those were, like, our, like, some of our major regional trips and stuff. What about, like, more, like, national, like, within the U.S. or the states of the U.S.?
Well, I mean, as I already mentioned, obviously, we went to Hawaii. I'm so sorry, Sam. I am sorry that you didn't get to go. That does kind of suck, because I feel like if you were there, we would have had, I mean, oh man, it would have been a lot of fun.
I think the time that, like, most of you guys went was right after I had Dylan.
It was literally right after you had Dylan.
And my mom was like, oh, well, I didn't think you would have, like, the money or something to go. And I was like, that's literally when I had a whole bunch of money. And I had all the time off because I was on leave. And I was like...
And she's like, and I needed to
She's like, I just thought you wouldn't be able to go. I was like, well, thanks for even asking. But it's fine. Like, I'll go. What? I've been to a lot of places, so...
In hindsight, though, I really do think that it would be a place that we could go for in the future, and it'll be there. Like,
yeah.
I did like Hawaii a lot. It was very chill there. Although I still feel like, just personality-wise, I'm more, you know, like...
a city girl.
Not really. Not really even a city girl, but more like... If I'm going to travel, I would prefer not a beach, but like a small town, or like a
villa,
more of a historical society, or historical site or something.
You like architect, right? Stuff that's more of like the mind versus the beauty.
Not that there's nothing like that in Hawaii, but also I'm just not like a tropical climate type of gal. Like, I like it a little cool. I like it a little drizzly. Like, I'd love to go to London. I'd love to, like, visit more places in Europe, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well, then Ireland was perfect for you. No,
pretty much, yeah.
Like the misty fog rolling in. And,
heck yeah. I want it a little gloomy. And...
See, like, for me, I don't know what it is about Hawaii, but, like, I love, like, the culture. I love how laid back everybody was.
I did like it there a lot, don't get me wrong.
Beautiful atmosphere. Like, all the environment was just so pretty.
Right.
The things that I loved to do the best when I was there. So I went there 2 times. The first time was with Mom and Aunt Bev and Sharon and Val and you and Aunt Barb. Mm-hmm. And then the second time I went was with Corey and Mel and Zach and Alicia and Connor. Mm-hmm. And basically, the first time when we went, it was really fun, I thought, when we went to the Dole plant.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that experience.
And Mom loves the Dole plant.
Yeah, they
had Dole Whip.
Yep, the Dole Whip, man. Oh, you can't get better from right there. You can't get it like that anywhere else because it's literally made right there. Mm-hmm. But anyways, and then they had a koi pond out back that was really cool. And then all the pineapples themselves were really cool too. But I really like the koi pond because you throw like just a handful of feed in there and they all like swarm and they're all like on top of each other. Like, oh my God, it was
I'm sure that's healthy for them.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure after thinking about it like that, it's kind of like, oh, I'm sorry. But at the same time, it was it was a pretty cool experience. Oh, and then there was birds that would eat right out of your hand. Mm-hmm. That was a really cool experience, too.
I really liked, like, all the, like, floral stuff there, like the greenery and the flowers.
Yeah, that's what I would. And my mom sent me pictures of, like, the giant slugs and, like...
Everywhere you looked, man, was just beautiful. And then the... 3 other things. The first thing that we did was when Corey and I went ziplining. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that was fun.
And my mom's done that. I think your mom's did it.
Oh my God, did you guys see the video where they're like, where they sing like, came in like a wrecking ball?
No.
Like, oh my God. You're so embarrassing.
That was great. I mean, come on now. Everyone wants to say that right before they do that. But, I'm
surprised my mom even did it. Like, and
I'm surprised they even knew that reference. Being honest.
Yeah, no, that was actually really funny.
Like, you did what? From what high and you didn't pee your pants back? Like...
That's great. The other thing that we did, so I also, when I went with Corey, we went and took Mel to an Elvis show.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was cool. She had such a good time. Like, honestly, that's one thing that I thought was really cool that we went with her was the fact that, you know, obviously she can appreciate a beautiful surrounding. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that was the perfect place to bring her just because obviously everywhere you look is just beautiful. And so it was one of those things that I thought I appreciated the fact that she got to have that experience because I know she really appreciates it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, and then the last part that I thought was really cool was the luau's. Oh,
the luau was really fun.
Those are cool.
I could imagine just eating all night. And, like, that's what I would enjoy.
Did they choose you to go up for the dance or something like that, too?
Me and Val both went up there. Yeah, we went and we got technically hula certified or hula trained or something that, like, give you a little certificate at the end. Yeah. But it was fun, though, and I sucked at it, by the way. Like, no, I am totally not good at hula hoop, or not hula hoop, but I'm good at hula hooping, dancing. But hula dancing is a little different, yeah. But anyways, the other places that I've been that are like kind of in the U.S. but not close to home, when I was younger, I went to Pennsylvania with Girl Scouts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we stopped at the Hershey factory, and we got to go to Gettysburg. And
did you get to eat like all the chocolate?
Oh, I got to eat all the food, but I had a funny story when it comes to the fudge, though. So Meryl knows. I was down, you know, on one of their tours, and we stopped at some of the shops along the way. And one of the shops I stopped in, you know, some of the girls were picking up some fudge. So I went in, and I was like, you know, I looked at just the basic ones that I know I liked. And I was like, well, how much is it for that? And the girl's like, $4 to $5. And I like had to open my ears a little bit. I was like, what? I was like, and she said it again. She was like, $4 to $5. And I was like, and so I walked out with, like, my jaw dropped, you know, and I walked out, and I was like, do you know how much you're selling that fudge for?
You got crack in that fudge or something?
So, anyway.
How did you guys buy that?
That's what I was thinking, some of the girls are walking out with a bag with something in it. I'm thinking to myself, like,
Dang
man,
it,
yeah, I'm not going to spend $45 on just fudge. I'd rather spend my $45 on several other things. So anyways, yeah, funny story about that. But anyway.
I don't think you ever told them the punchline.
Oh, the fact was obviously the fact. Oh,
yeah.
It was only $4 to $5 for a piece of fudge. $4 to $5,
not 45.
$45. I was just not hearing her correctly.
45.
So, anyways, yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
when we went to Salem, that was like one of the trips that we did together. We did go through Pennsylvania, and we did stop at the Hershey factory together. That was really cool. We ended up doing like the little class thing where you can learn about the different kinds of cocoa.
You become a taste connoisseur.
A taste connoisseur, so they call it.
They actually taught us that in chocolate sometimes they'll use some weird flavors like cheese. And like
that's a big thing in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So I had an ex that like, because my mom used to make Christmas fudge every year. Like she tries to still, but I don't know if she's made it every single year. But everyone loves her fudge, and I kept trying to get him to like eat it, and he's like, "No, I don't like fudge." Like, and I'm like, "How do you not like fudge?" And he's like, "It's weird, like chocolate and cheese. Who does that?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Cheese?" I'm like, exactly. Who does do that? And like he grew up in Wisconsin, and he's just like, everyone I know that makes fudge, like they put cheese in it. It's just fucking weird. And I'm like, that is fucking weird. I agree.
Like try this fudge over here, bro. Like
cheese and everything.
Those cheese heads in Wisconsin, they gotta put their
all that
cheese in everything.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I think, well, as I was saying, we went to Salem or whatever, which of course I chose Quasi because it's witchy. big surprise.
I was kind of wondering what, to be honest with you, dude, I did not understand why you chose Salem. Like I did and I didn't. Like I understood why you chose it, but at the same time I thought it was kind of an odd pick for you. I was just kind of like, yeah, I'll go to Salem. That's cool.
Like
whatever, you know.
She's a closet witch.
I didn't put two and two together.
Well, to be honest, Mom and I had discussed going to New Orleans too. But we were like, it's way too freaking hot right now. So we were like, I was like, okay, plan B is to go to the East Coast. So that's when we went to Salem, but we had like a really good time there.
Oh yeah.
We went a few times to this one restaurant. It was like Turner's or something like that.
They had the best scallops.
See, and I'm just like, ew.
Oh,
I do not like seafood very much. So I ended up always getting their macaroni and cheese. Me and my cheese too, apparently. It's not just Wisconsin. Although I don't put it in fudge. So yeah, we had a good time. We did like the witchy pictures, and we went to learned about like the witch trials and their history, and
we actually went down into some of the like dungeons that
where they were kept. Oh my god, It was like just like a thin little box.
There were
like,
there was a lot
torture.
of we went to some of the courtrooms where they had some of the trials happen.
They had some cool like wooden stick art like around.
Those were
there
cool.
were just like so many cool things.
I have pictures of the wooden stick art I can post because those are really cool. And then I can share our witchy pic that we took with our mom.
I like that picture.
I do too. I love it. I mean, it was a fun time. If anybody has never been to one of those and done that, I recommend doing it at least once.
Yeah.
Like, because they can do them in different themes. They don't have to do it in just the witchy theme. They could do it in like the
they had
gangster
different
bar.
backdrops and different like
like the
outfits.
We were just like a
gangster bar.
We're in Salem though.
We're gonna be witches.
Yeah. It was really fun.
But yeah, so that was quasi my second choice, just because I was thinking we would go down south because I figured New Orleans would be fun. But like, I'm glad we went to Salem because obviously that was also somewhere I really wanted to go. But
the graveyards there were beautiful as well. Just throwing that out there.
And for the weather too, because Mom was right when she brought up for New Orleans. She was like, it's probably because we went in the summer or like late summer, so she was like, it's gonna be like so freaking hot and it's just be humid.
So I went to New Orleans midsummer and it was hot as they tell you it's hot and I'm like, okay, I'm used. I can handle hot though.
Right by
like
the coast hot.
Yeah, but it's like
right by the
salty,
equator
drippy hot. Like you take your shower, you get out and like you're already drenched again after you already drew up. Like you dry off with your towel and it's like. Did I dry off with my towel?
So despite the heat, though, how was like the experience more generally?
disappointing. Not because of anything like to say on New Orleans, just because. So I went and met a boy that I met on Facebook. And, you know, he was from New Orleans. I kind of half expected him to, like, show me places. I had money. I was going to pay for him to show me places. And I, like, I don't know. It was just a random boy that I met on Facebook that I took a trip that, you know, like, it was convenient that we were friends, like, and, he, like, I was going to, like, not have him be my tour guide, but, like, he didn't have anything to do. Like, he stayed in my hotel with me. But he didn't show me anything. Like, we took the ferry a couple times back and forth, like, just in...
So there was so much more that you wanted.
Yeah, like, I wanted to go to the aquarium, and he didn't want to. And I wanted to go try, like, food. I wanted to, like, go out to the bayou and, like,
so you didn't even get to try beignets or whatever they're called?
Anything. Nothing. What? I want to go again.
We'll have to make a trip then after all this shit goes
away. So he did walk me up and down, like... We walked...
like in the French Quarter, maybe?
Yeah, we walked around the French Quarter, cool. And I stopped in a couple of the artsy places, like the art studios, and watched some of the people that were, like, on the street. And then we went up and down Bourbon Street. Is that the... That's one. But I wasn't 21 yet. And, like, it doesn't really matter there. Like, it's a big open storefront. You could have just gone in. And he's like, it's fine. Just, like, come in and have a shot. And I'm like, I'm such a rule follower that I'm like, I'm not 21 yet. I'm not going to drink in public. Like, I'll drink in the hotel. But, like, if you want to drink, like, I'm not doing that right here, right now. Sorry. Because I'm a rule follower.
Well, I mean, it's for good reason. You don't want to, like, get arrested when you're on vacation.
Yeah, well, that was my, like, pre-going to basic training trip. That's why I, like, was like, I'm going to have a trip. I'm going to make sure that, like, I have money saved to do stuff. And I had all my money saved to do stuff, and I didn't really do a damn thing. So,
so where else have you been down there? Did you go anywhere else while you were down south?
Not for that trip. So I actually, like, took a Greyhound bus. On that trip, and like my mom was terrified about the whole thing because she knew that I met this boy on the internet. She knew that like I was jumping on a bus to go.
I mean, not to
down
say whatever,
there.
but it sounds a little sketchy. I'd probably be thinking the same damn thing. Like,
I'm a rebel.
You crazy.
Not the first time I took a bus for like across the country for boys reasons, but so as a kid, I remember taking a road trip to South Dakota.
Okay.
And I think my dad planned it. I don't know. But, like, I don't remember him telling us about it, like, me and my brother, until the day of or, like, the day before.
Oh, wow. So it was, like, a surprise trip?
Surprise!
So, like, for packing our clothes and, like, making sure they're clean and we know where our bathing suits are and things like that. Like, you know, we had minimal time to be like, okay, we're going on this trip. Like, we're going to be gone for, like, this is, like, the longest family trip I remember. Like, we were gone for several days. But I remember seeing, like, the Badlands, and we, Mount Rushmore. I think we stopped at, like, Mall of America on part of the road trip.
I've still never been there either.
Yeah, terrible drivers out there. I remember like that as a kid and like other trips too there.
Everybody's like, give me that money or give me my goodies.
But yeah, I think we stopped at other places on that trip, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I remember my dad drove most of the time. And
I remember like my first road trip. Well, the first road trip I remember. I don't think there are any others than this, but I went with Justin and Jeremy, Aunt Barb, and when she was married to Uncle Dan, we went to Disney World in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, and we went to, like, Universal Studios and stuff, too, although that was, like, less appealing because I was super young at the time.
I was going to say, how old were you?
I was, like, 5. So, apparently, this was when Mom was supposed to have you.
Oh.
So, I guess that's why she sent me away, so she would only have Scott. But
no,
he's the most challenging child, but I think
why
it was just to get...
Why wouldn't she send Scott? You guys were so close in age.
They probably wouldn't take him.
Well,
he was hyper.
Scott was hyper as a kid, so I don't know...
It's hard to keep track of.
He would have needed, like, his own...
He probably got lost in Disney World. Like,
he would have needed his own chaperone.
Kind of like Dylan a little bit, where he doesn't... Not, like, anything bad about it, but, like, it's hard to hold focus on things and, like...
He would need like
He's in his
someone
own
specific.
When you're not with your own parent and you're out in a busy place like that, it's kind of scary. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Understandable.
So yeah, that's the first trip I remember. Although it was really funny because Justin and I were only like a month and a half, 2 months apart in age, and so we would have been in like maybe first grade, maybe kindergarten at the time. I don't know. But anyways, I remember we went through this. I only have like weird negative memories. It's so funny.
No,
so,
oh my gosh.
like I remember going through It's a Small World, and Justin and I were scared shitless of that ride. We screamed and cried the entire way through.
Aww.
We probably ruined the ride for literally everyone. But we were like those animatronics, man. They look a little devilish when you're that little. Yeah, pretty much. And we were like,
No, it's not.
we were terrified. I also remember like we went to Universal Studios and Jeremy got to ride. So this was around the time that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids came out, or maybe the second one, and they ride the bee or whatever.
Those movies are great.
And Jeremy got to ride the bee, and so did Jeffrey went with us too, which was Uncle Dan's son from a previous relationship. So he went with us as well, and Jeremy and Jeffrey got to go on the bee.
Yeah.
And me and Justin were like, it's not fair! But we were too young and too little.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then like I also remember we were walking towards the Dumbo ride, and Uncle Dan was a smoker, and so I reached up to like grab his hand, and I burnt my hand on his cigarette.
Oh no.
And then I also remember
Back in the 80s when people would just have cigarettes right next to their children and be smoking
I
right
know.
next to them.
Well,
Like,
me and
whatever.
Trevor were talking about that the other day, how like restaurants used to have smoking sections like
Oh, yeah.
in their indoor dining. Like I remember that.
Mhm.
Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
and now that's like disgusting to think about.
Well,
like
Jim Corey, I remember when they first implemented the whole like thing, he was like, "Man, now I can't even have my cigarette while I'm drinking at the bars. It's bullshit."
But yeah, like the only other thing that I really remember about that trip was this was not at either of the studios or whatever, but Justin cut his finger like while we were on the road trip, and we were next to the ocean, and like we were like on a dock, and there was like some guy who had a hose hooked up to like pump seawater, and Justin was like, I just want to clean it off, Mom, I just want to clean it off, and she was like, no, you don't want to clean it off with that water, it's salt water, it's gonna sting, it's gonna hurt you, we're just gonna
anyway.
And he was like, Mom, it's fine, and then he went over there, he stuck his finger like in the stream of this guy's like, you know, ocean water pumping out a hose, and he was like,
Oh my god!
you're like, oh my god.
this sounds like a terrible trip.
I'm sure I had a lot of fun in the moment. I just, of course, remember like only bits and pieces because I was so little.
You know, why is it that when you're little, it's always those either embarrassing or terrifying, like, you know, when you're frightened or when you're uncomfortable or when you're scared. Like, yeah, you remember all that shit, but anyways.
You know, like Sam said, it's just, you know, the trauma has an impact.
It really does. It's sad, but true. I mean,
Yeah.
At least I
that's
know
how we
I'm not
learn.
alone, because sometimes I'm like, man, why does this shit still bother me? But like, it's good that it bothers you guys too. Your traumas are sticking right with you too.
We're all together.
I hit a girl on the head with a golf club. Just get over it. It hurts. It sucks. But, you know,
Well, you know, I
she
feel like
still
we all
survived.
have like some sort of moment of embarrassment. At least I do. I guess I shouldn't assume everyone else does. But much like you, I remember this time where I was over at Julie and Jenny's, and I had like this hula hoop, and I was kind of going back and forth with it, and I had it sort of like in this weird position where it was kind of behind my back, and I had my wrists sort of turned in a strange way, and it bounced down, and it like went over Jenny's head and like hit her right on the bridge of her nose, and like I was like, oh my gosh, so I like flipped it up in the same position with my wrist, and then it fell right back down on her.
Oh, no.
I was so embarrassed. I was like, I'm so sorry, I need to go home. And she was like, it's fine, you're fine. And she, I'm sure it hurt a little bit, but she was like mostly fine. I was just like so embarrassed.
Yeah.
You're like,
I was
oh
my god,
I
I was
have
so
to
mortified. Yeah.
Oh.
I was so
It
embarrassed.
is like that though when you're a kid, when you mess up, and maybe,
Uh-huh.
you know what it probably is? Well, we'll get into other things, I guess, but
Well, yeah, I think
I
it's a trauma
wonder-
response.
I
Let's
wonder,
just put it that way.
I was just gonna say, I wonder if it has to do with some things.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a trauma
I've been
response.
considering starting to write a book, like a memoir about myself and my traumas and my...
Dude, I literally have a book in my cart on Amazon for you, and it's called Mommy, I Want to Know Your Story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically like, so you can put your story out there. And there's another one that I have for you and Dylan, and one for you and Levi. And anyways, it was, But anyways, I'll have to get it now for you and let you see what it's about.
I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one
You
who's...
can write your story and leave it.
Yeah.
The only one that's what?
Had that kind of experience trauma. Like, I mean,
Me too,
not to say that I want anyone else to experience trauma, but it's like sort of validating to know that you're not alone in experiencing it, even if it like manifested in like different ways, you know.
Well, and it's funny how I think every one of us has to learn on our own in our own way, and certain situations have different impacts on people depending on their experience and how they feel about it. So, like, one of you might have hit the girl in the head with the thing and been able to move on with your life and been fine and not even remembered it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But me, I was just so like, oh God. Or like I might have done a hula hoop thing and I was like, whatever, you know. And it stuck with you. That was the one moment that stuck with you to learn something, you know. Maybe it's just those moments where we learn something valid or learn something
that
corrects our behavior or something, like, or changes our behavior, not even correct.
This also kind of reminds me, and maybe like my reaction to it was like a trauma response, but I feel like we all probably have like that moment where we're a little bit embarrassed, like that we did or accidentally hurt someone or like whatever. Because I keep like thinking too, like our mom, she always tells us about this thing where she was like standing in the hall and she was like kicking back and forth and back and forth, and she like kicked back and like kicked her principal. Like in a not so very good place, if I remember the story correctly.
I don't remember that.
Like she was just mortified.
I don't remember her telling that story, I guess.
You should ask her about it. I don't 100% remember if it was in his special place, but I feel like it was. Maybe it was just like the shin or something. But like I feel like when she said it, she said it was in his package. You know?
Yeah.
And I was just like,
oopsies.
Yeah.
But anyways, sorry, us and our tangents. Back to topic, vacation.
But yeah, anyways, so yeah, I went to Florida and all I remember is the shitty parts. Anyone else have some positive information about Florida?
I've been to Florida. So my trip to Florida was another road trip. And I went with a guy who was super into racing, so we went to go see 24 hours of Sebring, I think was what it was. Like, it was a 24-hour race. We camped at the, like, race
Like, it was
track.
racing for 24 hours?
Yes. Like, it was a team. Like, I don't know how many drivers each team had to have minimum. But, like, but it wasn't terrible. And, like, I don't know. It was fun. And we went to, I'll have to look up the name of it, but there's like a really old like Spanish fort, like military fort that we visited when we were down there. I think it was one that we like captured from the Spanish, actually. I'm not sure.
I'm so bad with history.
Yeah, but like that was really cool. And then obviously like we saw, that was my first time seeing that coast. Was that trip. And I don't even remember where else all we stopped, but I'm sure we stopped like a substantial amount of places. That might have been the same times that I went to the Waverly Hills Sanitarium, actually, on the way down to Sebring.
Isn't that supposed to be like super haunted or something?
Yes. During the Waverly Hills Sanitarium, it was this old sanitarium during tuberculosis. Was that?
I don't remember exactly. I just remember it rings.
The sanitarium where they put crazy people?
No, it's basically, well, it was that at one point. Yeah,
I shouldn't say crazy people, where they put the people.
It was also like an asylum at one point.
That's what I mean.
But the sanitarium is basically where they put infectious disease people so that they don't spread their disease to others. And like there was like a chute there that like was like the hallway of death where they carried in and out the dead bodies so that like the public wouldn't see how many people were actually dying.
Yeah.
Like there was like a tunnel, and like me and him, like we walked all the way down that tunnel, and like we stayed in it overnight. It was freezing cold. Like it wasn't like the whole week or month like that we planned the trip. It was like nice weather.
But you said you actually stayed in the hallway overnight? Oh my god.
No, we stayed like in the sanitarium, like in the building. And, like, so it was, like, a tour that we paid for, and, like, each group, I think, only had, like, 10 people. So, like, and the guides don't stay overnight with you. That's another thing. So you go, they show you around a little bit, and then, like, each group gets to explore each floor for a little bit, and then, like, we all went back to, like, this other area together, and that's where we were, camping out. But, like, we spent a couple hours on each floor, like, during the night. Like, we weren't sleeping the whole time. Like, we stayed and it was cold.
So the group is able to explore it after the tour guides leave? And
like, the tour guide would show you the floor, tell you the ghosts that live on the floor, and, like, their stories, and, like, how they got to be there and that. And so, like, they would tell you the stories, and then they would disappear.
I wonder if ghost hunters have gone into the facility with, like, you know, their...
It's been on a couple, like, famous shows before, like, that do investigations like that. Like Ghost Avengers, I think Adventures. I always call it Avengers, but Ghost Adventures.
Okay, yeah.
They, I think, have done it. I'm sure a whole bunch of other ones have, but because it's a fairly famous, like, attraction.
Right.
Yeah.
Now.
See, I don't...
But we went to, like, the cemetery on the way there, too. That's places that I remember we went. We went to that cemetery. We went to the cemetery where the big lion is. It was... I think they took it down recently, actually, which is sad. But it was, like, one of the lions from one of the... I think part of the Civil War. Like, a whole bunch of unnamed soldiers were buried underneath it. Okay. Mm-hmm. And... I know it got vandalized recently.
Where else? I mean, Susie, do you have any other places you've been? Or Sam? I'm pretty much tapped out on my...
I got a couple
national because I'm not well traveled.
Yeah,
you can go over it.
Well, so I already, like, talked about my New Orleans trip, which was right before I went to basic. But right after basic, because I met my first fiance while I was in basic training and at my schooling for my military job.
Yeah.
He was stationed in New York, and I was National Guard, so I could kind of switch states. So I moved up to switched to New York National Guard for a while and moved up there with him. And he was from Oklahoma, so I made several trips between Oklahoma and New York, and Oklahoma and Illinois and New York. Like, that whole time we were there, I drove back and forth or took Greyhounds back and forth. Yeah. And
how many hour trip was that?
I think most of it, the time I did it in like 13 hours. But I don't remember if that was, I think that was 13 hours from New York, where I lived, because I was upstate. I wasn't in the city. I was upstate at Fort Drum, next to, like, the Canadian border. And so I lived out there for a while, and like, we were engaged, and, like, he had a son, so I drove all the way to Oklahoma from New York one time and picked up his son to move up there with us. Yeah. And that was before I met his, like, family. Like, I met his family one time before that.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of awkward, because I was like, I'm here to take the kid all the way across the country.
I know we've never
Which was a terrible drive back. I remember the drive back because there was a blizzard, because we had lakefront snow coming in. So, like, I went and picked him up fine, and then I got him, and... Like, I wasn't a mom, like, of my own yet, like, so I didn't have that, like, intuition. Like, I had him sitting on the bed, and he crawled off of it at the hotel and, like, bumped his head. And, like, I didn't plan on staying at a hotel, but since there was a blizzard, they shut down all the interstates, and, like, I couldn't make it back up to where he was. Like, so I had to stop with his kid that wasn't mine, and I'm like, I have to check into a hotel with this kid that I have no proof of why I took him and why I'm in a different state with him.
Oh my God.
I was terrified. I was thinking, like, they're gonna think I stole him, but, like, I had obviously permission by everyone to, like, take him, but I just
it just felt like
it felt awkward.
It just felt awkward to me because, like, it was only my second time meeting him, and I'm like, he barely knows who I am, and, like, what if he freaks out, and, you know.
Right, to have that kind of responsibility is a little much
but,
on the mind at that time.
But I don't miss those road trips. Like, I like road trips, like, vacation road trips, but road trips for, like, businessy, like, doing tasks, like, I could do without those. Good. Other than there, I've also been to California for military training.
I'd love to go there someday.
I would too.
And then me and Colin, my best friend, we went back. Like, obviously for military training, that's whatever. That was, we stayed.
Or maybe,
Hogwarts.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I went there.
I want to go so bad. I'm so jealous.
I had an alarm go off. My sound is off, and then I forgot I had an alarm.
Terrible podcaster. No, I'm kidding.
We've all done it now.
Yeah, I was just going to say, now we're even.
Okay. It's actually Dylan's nap alarm because I started making him take a nap because he gets so cranky and like I'm over it. I can't if you just go lay in your bed for a couple hours or an hour, like even if you're not napping, just I
need that
mom's break time.
Have you ever traveled with Dylan?
So when I was with the guy that liked watching the racing, we went to Road Atlanta, was another racing trip, and I brought Dylan with. And I believe we went to like the Georgia Aquarium on that trip, which was huge. I'd have to go back there because their manta ray tank is like one of my favorite tanks to just sit and like watch. And I like aquariums.
I haven't been to an aquarium in like so freaking long, but they are awesome.
I was literally
just, like, relaxing. And,
like, you know what I put on the thing earlier when we were watching or when we were eating was the Dory. There's like a Dory aquarium setting on Disney Channel, and it just literally has fish just kind of come up to the screen and just kind of show a little bit, and then just kind of go away from the screen. Yeah, it was kind of interesting that. So in other words, I know that Kelly is going to love aquariums in the future because of how intrigued she was by that. And I love aquariums, and if you love aquariums and you love aquariums, you should all go to an aquarium.
Yeah.
After COVID. After COVID. Yes, we definitely should. 100%.
I feel like we went to one a long time ago with Auntie, and they had like something on this, like a walkway, or like maybe it just went above us or something, where there was like a huge like tunnel,
a dome.
Yeah, where you could see the fish like swimming above you.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Do they have something like that in Georgia, or?
Well, yeah, they have domes, walkways, and then, like I said, they're like manta ray tank. They have sharks in that tank, too. I don't know what all kinds of sharks, but I'm impressed by their manta rays because they're, like, the size of houses, you know? They're ginormous, and I think that's the biggest tank of them in the world, or maybe just in the U.S. I don't want to, like, say for 100%, but I know it's a pretty substantial tank.
Yeah,
like.
That's cool.
But I want to go back to California I went with Colin real quick, because when I went with Colin, we did like a whole bunch of stuff. Like we went to
he looks like a
Hollywood Boulevard, so we did like the Hollywood Strip, and then we went to like the Hollywood sign and did that hike. I got this tattoo there on Venice Beach. Nice. So we did Venice Beach. We did.
You'll have to put a picture up.
Yes, I will. You guys need to show us our tattoos. Like, I'll show you mine, and then you guys could show us yours. And
that's the whole thing. Yeah. Not that I have any, but
you should get some. I mean,
do. Oh, God, I have ideas.
If that's what you want. But
I have ideas.
But yeah, so I got a tattoo there. We went to Universal, and it was the week that the like Harry Potter World there opened.
Oh, nice.
And so which we missed the cast being there by like a day. If we would have went like the day before, which is really surprising because when we went, there weren't lines. But I think it was because it was like after spring break happened, and it was like we went on a Monday right when they first opened in the morning, and we went there. So we got really lucky, and like we went on like their big roller coasters like 3-4 times, and just like kept going back in line. Like you didn't really have to wait.
That's always the funnest. Yeah, if you can do that.
Yeah. And we went to the beach out there. Yeah.
That's really cool. I
like my trips with Colin. I had my other trip that I went with Colin other than that one was when I went to Weekend at Wolfie's, and me and him we left a week early so that we could do a road trip of just me and him before we went to the music festival.
Where is that?
That was the music festival that I talked about, the first one that was up on the mountain.
I
believe it was in Pennsylvania, Virginia.
Okay.
Somewhere
out east. Okay.
Yes, but we went to like Rehoboth, Rhode Island, and like we went I'm not from there, so I'm going to butcher it, and they're all going to laugh at me if any of them actually listen to my podcast. But
give me your best go.
Rehoboth Booth. Or maybe I'm adding too many. Rehoboth Booth Beach. It's a beach out there, but like a lot of the bands that I know, they play out. They used to play out there before you can't play anything anymore. But But yeah, we went out there and to the beach, and it was actually a beach that Colin and his family had gone to before in his childhood. So like he had memories, and like so it was like
nostalgic.
Yeah. So that was a fun trip. And then I forget where else me and Colin went on the way out, because like I said, we left
standard stops.
Yeah. Like we went to like Delaware, and like I went to a couple new states that I haven't been to out on that side. So
that kind of like sounds like what we did when we went to Salem. Like our destination was Salem, but like we said, we went to like the Hershey Museum, and we stopped at
we stopped at that one thing I just had to.
Gravity Hill.
Yes.
Oh my God.
There's this place that I saw, and I was just so intrigued by the thought that we had to stop. It was on the way.
That you're supposed to stop your car?
Yeah, basically.
And you're supposed to go uphill.
There's one but on Blood Point Road, there's a Gravity Hill.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. You don't have to go all the way across country for that.
Well, I mean, we were just passing through, and I saw a sign for it, and I was like, oh, that sounds like that'd be fun. Let's try that. And so we kind of went a little off the beaten path to do it, and it was not that fun.
It didn't work?
It was kind of lame. It was like, you put your car in a neutral.
It wasn't that much of an incline.
Yeah.
So it was
like,
just like almost like you were just going down the road.
Yeah.
It was
like I was expecting to see like a clear hill, you know
like
what I mean?
That
I was going to literally put my car in neutral and go up. And no, it did not quite
It was just like
way.
a little stretch of road that was basically just flat anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe it's just an illusion, isn't it, anyways? Where it looks like you're going up, but you're really going down?
Probably.
Maybe.
It's probably one of those things that's like this. Like, where, you're downclining, but because you're inclining now, then I don't really know.
Yeah.
Well, I think it might have to do, I don't know. I'm assuming it would have to do with, like, the landscape around you, too, and what, like, the illusion. Like, something about, like, the hills going up.
I didn't see any illusion either way.
I don't know.
It didn't work for us, but...
the one around town never worked for me. So it's...
They had, like, T-shirts and stuff for it.
I was pretty sure that they were just trying to lure us out there, like, the hills have eyes, because it was in the middle of freaking nowhere.
There was a creepy-ass turnaround spot that we, like, got to.
It looked a little sketch, guys.
Yeah, we totally were getting those hills have eyes vibes.
Yeah.
Like, how many other tourists have gotten lost out here?
All of them.
That's where they all go.
The ones like you who are like, "Oh, look at this!
Yeah, look at the sign. Let's follow the sign. Let's go with the flow of life. Must be interesting."
But that was like was that in Pennsylvania? I don't remember.
I don't remember what state that was in. I know it was while we were passing through. Well, the other thing that kind of pissed me off was I remember at the very end, we were like kind of really up close, like maybe an hour away from Niagara Falls. And I was like, dude, why don't we like swing by there and check that out? And you're like, no. I'm like, okay.
I feel like we were a little farther away than
we were
that.
like an hour away. I was like, how can we not go see Niagara Falls when you're an hour away from it? Like,
I've never been.
No interest?
Even though I drove by the exit like a couple,
Oh my God, why does that not intrigue anyone else to see?
I mean, maybe someday. I probably just...
It's not that it never intrigued me, but like I'm pretty sure you have to pay to go out there and like...
To like get in to see it. Well, then again, I guess I probably would have wanted to make it a whole thing by the time we got out there. It would have been like, let's go out and actually
Well, I feel like when we did that, it was like maybe... I remember this, but like... I feel like it was like on our way home, and it was already getting kind of late. So by the time we would have gotten...
It would have been a whole nother day added on or something.
It wouldn't have worked out schedule-wise, I don't think. Yeah. Because I feel like I probably would have gone if we would have...
I remember I was heavily disappointed that we didn't go, and I was very much like, man, we were so close. Why didn't we seize that opportunity?
Someday you'll get to go.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, honestly, I could just make more of a trip of it and actually, like, relax and explore the area and make a day of going and standing in the rain of it and
right.
Anyway,
that other music festival that I mentioned back on our music episodes was Freak Stomp, and that was in Pennsylvania. But I have this mixed up. Me and Colin, when we went to Weekend at Wolfie's on that road trip, another place that we stopped at was Centralia, Pennsylvania, which is like the town that Silent Hill is based on, I believe. Like the movies and the games, like where there was like coals burning underground for a while, like a big fire happened in like a coal mining something. Colin knows way more about the history of it than I do, but like it's burning still, and like I believe it just got covered over like last year or the year before that. Like,
oh wow,
they didn't want tourists to go out there and be taking pictures of it anymore, so they covered it up with like dirt. But like there was like smoke coming out of the road for like years and years because of the stuff still burning that, you know, is probably still going to keep burning for eons and eons. But so that was pretty cool.
Interesting.
I like.
Why would they cover that up?
Because they don't want people out there leaving litter and
right, yeah, good call.
Because people are disgusting and can't take what they bring in, and
it's a natural thing that needs to stay there, and we need to like not.
Well, it's not really a natural thing. It was like it used to be a town that literally burnt to the ground, and like it's just now like some of the roads still exist, but like you have to like hike to them. And
so what is it that's still burning then? I guess something that
the mines.
Oh,
yeah, it's a mining town.
Okay.
Yeah, something.
But it's not naturally burning then. It's something that.
No, it is naturally burning. It's the mine. Like
well,
what they.
It started probably by I don't know if it started in a natural course. It might have been like someone started a fire on accident and just.
I want to say there was an explosion. Maybe I don't know. We can maybe look up the history and do a post about that.
I guess I more or less was just wondering if it was like I thought because of like I thought it was maybe a natural thing, as in like it's naturally occurring at the moment and it needs to like stay that way for it to like I don't know.
There's just no way to put it out because it's literally like the mine is on fire. Like they would have
all the coal down there.
Like what they would need
of the earth. It is
because because of what it is because it's flammable material because it's coal.
So yeah, the Centralia, that sounds really cool.
Yeah,
it's too bad that it's blocked off, but. Be probably cool to see someday.
Yeah, maybe I'll like look up some information about it and link it, or write my own article and reference them or something. But
I guess
it wasn't really something I knew about until Colin took me there, and then like he told me the story about it, and I kind of looked up a little bit. But like I said, I could definitely learn more research about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously I could too because I knew nothing about it. All right, but no, so. Last but not least, I basically, the only other place that I've been that is kind of in our, that's in our country that, whatever. Last place I've been is Texas. So when we went, it was because Corey's Aunt Jackie and Uncle Ron lived down there. And we took a road trip, and it was me, Corey, Scott, and Ryan. And I think Zach and Sean and Emily all rode separate from us. I remember it was us four in the one car, and then they all came down and joined us down there. Well, anyways, we definitely took a detour, not a planned detour, but for some reason, we were reading maps at the time. We didn't have the
GPS.
Yeah. So we had this big road map, and we definitely took a wrong turn, and we got I think it was 4 hours or 8 hours off course or something. I mean, it was terrible, and what should have been, I think it was like a 14-hour drive, or maybe it was supposed to be 18 hours, and ended up taking like 24 hours for us to get there. It was terrible. But anyways, it was fun, and it was funny, but it definitely took us way too long to get there. But when we got there, it was so fun. Like, we got to ride four-wheeler. Like, so they live kind of in a remote area in Texas where they have a huge bunch, like a whole bunch of land. And, they had three-wheelers and four-wheelers. I actually preferred the three-wheelers. But yeah, we all just got to go on all these paths all day long, and they had some good food for us at the end of the night, every night. We had, good breakfast waking up, and we were all chilling out on their porch where we would sleep, and it was just, I remember falling asleep was funny because none of us could all fall asleep, so, Zach would make these, I'm not even going to do them on here because I can't do them on here, but he remembers. They were hilarious. He'd make these little noises, and we were all just cracking up laughing, and we couldn't even fall asleep because it was so fucking funny. But anyways, but yeah, we went to Galveston Island. That was really fun.
For someone who doesn't know what that is, what is Galveston Island?
It's just a little island right off of Texas. It's in the Gulf of Mexico, I believe. It just, I mean, it's not super, what's the word? I mean, it's touristy, I guess. Yeah, it's a super big tourist attraction. I mean, I never heard of it before I went there either. It wasn't super tropical or anything. I do remember that they had a lot of debris at the time when we went because they had just gotten over, I think, some sort of a hurricane or maybe just a really bad storm. But I do remember when we went there, they were doing some massive cleanup. It was, unfortunately. I forget which year we went.
Yeah, when I went to New Orleans, it was shortly after Katrina. I don't know if it was the year after or 2 years after, but it was after, like, a big one, And there was still, like, some neighborhoods that they didn't get any help, Well,
and that's one thing that traveling kind of opens your eyes to as far as that stuff is it's like, man, you know, as tourists, it's great to come and see these places, but if you take yourself out of that perspective and you look at it from the people that are living there standpoint, like some of the places are really in desperate need for help, and it's like, it opens your eyes to different cultures and their ways and the places that they live in, what need their environment is in need of and help of, you know.
Well, it's interesting too the impact that like travel has on certain places, because like some places it's like the places where you get visitors or whatever are really nice and well put together, but if you go just to the outskirts where the people who work at those like travel attractions and things like that are living, they're, I don't want to say they're living in squalor, but like there are places where they're just it's not
ideal.
It's not as pretty as it is on the inside. Like,
well, you can just tell that there's like not a lot of, you know, wealth there. Like they're a little bit run down, whatever, you know, and which is really sad because a lot of times those are the people who are like working at all of these attractions, and then they get paid crap, you know,
to make your dreams come true when you go on vacation.
Travel.
Which, you know, and that's one thing that I'd have to say when I went to Hawaii that I didn't notice very much of. And I wasn't in that perspective trying to notice it either, though. But, like, I remember at one point we were on a bus at the airport, and one of the guys was basically saying that, you know what, I went on vacation here, and I just saw how I had such a great time that I just never went back. And he's like, yeah, I just live down here. We chill. We do this. We do that. He made it sound so great, you know. But then you think about it, it's like, man, the cost of living down there, and I don't know how much it cost, how much he was making as a bus driver at the airport, but not probably that much, you know. And it's like, how do you make that work? Like, did you retire to go down there? You just have a part-time job, or like,
or he might just be okay with like a smaller place and like whatever. I mean, like, it's not like not like everywhere, like in all places is
like we were
bad.
Talking,
you know what I mean?
Your means, and you make it work, like
Yeah, but also, like, a bus driver probably makes a lot more money than someone who's, like, working at, like, an ice cream stand at Disney World. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess that's true, it depends on where.
So we're talking about quasi-class distinction there, too. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, he probably lives more in a suburb sort of.
And I don't know anything like that, obviously. I just had that brief conversation with him on the bus where he was talking about how great, you know, living there was. Because we were just talking about, you know, like, how long had he been
it depends on someone's experience, you know what I mean? And even the other people who live there who probably aren't making that much money probably still like it or love it there, you know, depending, you know what I mean? I'm not...
Right, everyone's perspective is so different, everyone's experience is so different that who's to say it one way or the other, really, so...
Yeah, and for me, I'm more talking about, like, more specifically, like, places that are, like, conglomerate, like Disney Worlds, you know what I mean? Like, this huge Six Flags, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
You know what I mean? But yeah.
So as far as where we've been, that's pretty much been established. We've been to a fair amount of places, all of us, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, internationally, I got nothing.
All I've got is Ireland, but I'd love to do
all you got is Ireland.
That's so
well, I mean, true. But
I would love to probably go to Canada,
I've also traveled a lot less just in general than you guys.
Yeah, I've never been to Canada.
I would love to go to Canada. Several places in Canada, because, like, they're, you know, it's pretty large up there.
I want to go see the Northern Lights. We gotta go. We were just talking about that at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, I think we've come to a pretty good point where I think we can kind of wrap up this section.
We've been.
Yeah, we had more that we wanted to talk about travel and vacation. So... when we come back, I think we'll talk a little bit about, you know, some of our
places that we want to go.
Like where would we like to go for different reasons, historical, entertainment, eating.
In the meantime, we'd love to know where you guys have been. We
would love to know where you guys have been. Let us know online. We'll try and start like a thread or something.
Yeah.
For recommendations.
I'll make a post sourn someone will make a post.
Post-pandemic, where should we go? We'll put up a globe or something and have you guys circle where we need to go.
The other thing that we were going to mention too is that we're going to try to get some Q&A going on for one of our episodes. So if you guys want to submit any questions for us to include on that episode, please
put them in our comments.
Yeah,
we love comments.
Absolutely. I love that idea. So comment either on our Facebook or, send us a video reply
send
or
us email.
duet us on TikTok. I'm going to do some sort of, I think tonight I'll do do you have questions for us? And then we can do that on Instagram so too. So comment and let us know if you have questions and we'll try and get to those in a coming episode, or maybe we'll sweat them out over episodes. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We're still figuring things out, y'all. So I think we still should do something to close out the episode. Like we usually do a sponsor.
Yeah.
But I think this week, let's instead, since it's going to be the first of 2 parts, and usually we don't have a sponsor in the middle, let's do a recommendation instead. And it will be collective. I think, I don't know, does anyone have one that they would like to suggest?
Well, so me and Dylan have been listening to a podcast called Mini Magic.
Yes, I love Mini Magic. Even I listen to Mini Magic. It's adorable and informative.
It has so much good information, and it's small enough chunks that it's great that you can still kind of retain it. You can listen to it multiple times, which is what I love to do. But it's by Andrea Stein, who is one of my favorite, she has another book called Brina, and then she's creating C for Coven, which is her newest one, which I've already ordered through her Kickstarter campaign. But I love all of her work. She puts out little worksheets sometimes in different homeschooling groups that I'm in on Facebook, and we would love to have her on and collab with her.
So great.
And talk mom stuff and podcast stuff and how you write book stuff and
oh yeah, we'd love to talk about all that with her. And just so you know, Andrea Stein is the owner of, or I guess the creator behind Moondust Press.
Yes, that is her publishing.
Moondustpress.com. You can order or pre-order CS for Coven. You can get her first book, Brina. And it's Brina, right?
I believe, yes. I always second guess everything that I say. I'm like, did I do it right? Am I going to say it wrong? And I'm afraid of saying everything wrong.
Yeah,
but
same. But yeah, I love her podcast, Mini Magic. It's I listen to it on Apple Podcasts. What do you listen to it on?
I listen to it on Spotify.
Okay, so
Spotify is usually my go-to because I get my student discount.
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing she's probably on most of the major platforms.
She's on probably a lot of the major ones. And I believe that you can ask her questions to send in on Anchor.
Yeah. And I think it's largely if you have a kid that has a question.
Yeah, me and Dylan are trying to come up with one. So we listen to her, and I've been really falling off my homeschooling lately. I think I mentioned that before, but it's not uncommon when the days get shorter, and
didn't you?
But we're going to start
in Christmas vacation. I mean, don't schools have a week off around that time of the year?
Oh, we've been off since Halloween. Not completely off, but we've been not on our game
gotcha.
for a while.
Okay,
so we've been trying to use her episodes as kind of entries to get back into learning some stuff. So she just did the Wheel of the Year episode, which was lovely, and Dylan had questions about the Wheel of the Year before that episode even came out. So I'm like, this is perfect. So I'm going to get some worksheets about it, and we're going to do this, and
it's nice because the episodes are palatable for kids. They're very short and succinct, and they present the information in ways that are easy for them, I think, to digest.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I think each of the episodes is 15
and her
about 15
voice
minutes.
Doesn't hurt either.
So check
she has
out
a lovely voice.
Mini Magic and all the other stuff from her because she's amazing. Andrea Stein from Moondust Press and moondustpress.com, and you can find them on most social media stuff. I know we're following her on certain things as well.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, so check them out, and I guess we'll just say we'll be back next time with part 2, and we'll talk about where we want to
vacation.
go.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. So thanks for listening, Coven, and until next time,
blessed be.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Midwest Coven Cast. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review. You can also join our coven by following us on social media at Midwest Coven on Twitter and at Midwest Coven Cast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can also find us at MidwestCovenCast.com. Until next time, blessed be.